Hello. Hello, Facebook family. Just coming live with a little quick lunchtime message. Let's see who's out there. Say hello so I can see who's watching. How you doing, Tawanta? Hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you for joining. I'll give it a few moments to see a few folks jump on. Hello, hello. Say hello so I can see who's on because I can't see everyone's name pop up. Good afternoon. Okay, I'm going to get started. So, if you're catching this on the replay, just put hashtag replay, which most of you probably will. This is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, hopefully, I'll catch a few folks on their lunch break. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for joining. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about relationships and just, keeping it short and sweet and to the point. By the way, I'm Phoenix Love of a Healer's Haven, where I work with purpose-driven leaders to provide holistic healing solutions to help you achieve your wellness goals as well as work-life balance. I am the helper to the healer and the healer to the helper. So thank you for joining. Again, this is a lunchtime message really around relationships. Hi, Tarita. Thank you for joining. And of course, right now we're in holiday season, so we are spending more time with our people, our loved ones, family, friends, work parties, and at work, work relationships. So when we have relationships with people, we know they can either be healthy, positive ones that are life-giving and supportive, or they can be negative and unhealthy. So the ones that I want to talk about today are the ones that are negative and unhealthy, because again, we are pretty much, I don't know what day it is, the 3rd or the 4th, so we are almost at the end of the year. And I know, like many of us, we have our goals, and some people still do New Year's resolutions and all that stuff. So I know there's changes that pretty much most of us, if not all of us, want to make in our life. And a lot of it has to do with our relationships, because we do know, and because I am a mental health professional as well as a holistic health practitioner, I'm always going to come from the standpoint of how things affect you mentally and emotionally, and then just generally holistically. So we know a lot about stress and challenges and any type of emotional dysregulation. It usually comes from our relationships. So I really wanted to just jump on here and because it's Truthful Tuesday, hashtag Truthful Tuesday, really get right to it, that there are some people that we know when the clock strikes January 1st, or that ball drop, however you want to look at it, that there are some folks that we need to release from our life. And so I'm going to talk about those really quickly, because they are really people. Let me step back for a second. In my group, Holistic Living for Purpose-Driven Leaders, we're currently doing a 7-day fast and detox. So it's both spiritual as well as good for your overall health and wellness, as far as your physical health and wellness. Hey, Lynn, thank you for joining. So a part of that, I list all of the different things that we need to give up or unplug from or release. So it's not just the physical aspect of, foods, and that's a big part of it, but it's also anything and everything that brings or creates toxins in our body, or toxins in our emotions or our mind, or even spiritually. So one of the things that we have to look at, and I would say unplug, is to unplug from unhealthy relationships. So if we know there's someone in our life that is basically toxic in one way or another, because maybe they're very argumentative. Maybe every time we leave them, we just don't feel good. We feel physically sick, or we feel drained, or we feel weary. That's toxic. That's building up something from a biochemical standpoint in your body that is unhealthy. And that affects every aspect of you. That affects your mental well-being, that affects your emotional well-being, certainly, and it does affect you physically. So we wonder sometimes, why are we having headaches? Why are we having stomach discomfort? Why are we maybe we keep getting like colds back to back to back? It's not just seasonal and environmental, because yes, that's a part of it too, but a lot of times it's our relationships. So when we look at, there's really 8 toxic type of people that you need to just really, if you can, sever the relationship, because I understand sometimes it's our family members, and you can't just get rid of your family members, even though some people may want to. But sometimes, it is people that we, friends, so-called friends, and we know we got all types of category of friends, and I'm going to have to do a live just on that alone. But co-workers that just, cause us a lot of pain and discomfort and aggravation. But the 8 toxic people that you really need to look at releasing, number 1 is those who spread negativity. And again, if you spend, like many of us spend a lot of time in this online world, there's a lot of negativity and toxic stuff that is shared, throughout the day, and toxic negative energy that's shared on the World Wide Web, and especially on social media. So even that's why I say unplugging is part of our fast as well, because we can, you can click, you can scroll something, and immediately something that really just gets in your spirit and really just makes you feel, uncomfortable, or makes you feel sad, or it makes you feel some kind of way. So all of that starts to have an effect on you, as far as your physical well-being and your emotional well-being. So you really, anybody or anything that's spreading negativity on a consistent basis, that's a toxic person. And you really have to look at, severing that relationship. Number 2 is those who criticize you all the time. And look, and I'm not talking about constructive criticism. We all need constructive criticism in our lives so we can do better, we can make changes, we can grow, right? We can develop. That's necessary. And we have to be able to discern when we have a person in our life that is placed there to be someone that kind of does some checks and balances with us. But we also have to know that that's a person that has our best interests at heart, right? Because someone that's just constantly criticizing you, you got to really look at, is that someone that has my best interests at heart, or is that somebody that's really just looking at me a certain way and judging me? And it really is about that rapport you have with that person. But if it's someone that's every single time you speak with them, or everything that you do is wrong, and they're constantly beating you down, and everything is a criticism, that's toxic. And that is a relationship that you do not want to continue. Or if it's a situation where it's a family member or someone you can't just get rid of, then you really have to set the boundaries on what you allow to come from that person. And you can't control another person, but you do have the ability to say what I will accept and what I don't accept in my life, as far as what I take in my ear gates. So that much you have control of. So you don't have to sit and listen to anybody's criticism. If it's somebody on the phone, you can kindly hang up and get off the phone. If it's somebody that's in your presence, you can leave their presence. So if it's someone you cannot cut out of your life or sever the relationship, then you have to put the boundaries. But someone that's constantly criticizing you, that's a toxic relationship. And the best thing to do is to be able to release it. Those who waste your time, that's number 3. Time is our most valuable asset. And what we do in the given 24 hours that all of us have, that really determines the outcome of our life. So if we are spending a lot of our time with someone who wants to take up our time with, complaining, or, criticizing, or they just want to sit around and don't do anything with it, or every time they speak, it's about, woe is me, or Debbie Downers, or they're just, time wasters, then that is someone we have to send them off with love, and love them from a distance. because you don't have time. We have a very specific time on this earth. Each of us, and it may be different for each of us, but we all have a purpose. And God has a master plan for all of us. And something that we each have something unique to offer to this world, right? And to each other. And so when you have someone that's constantly in your life and they're just taking up your time and there's nothing productive coming out of that relationship, then you really have to evaluate that and say, is this something that is beneficial for me? Look at it this way. When you have a relationship with someone, in any interaction, I don't care, you have to look at all of your relationships. And really, at the end of the year, this is the best time to do it. Sit down, list all the people that are closest to you, that are in your circle, and that's in every category: friends, loved ones, lovers or spouses, mates, co-workers, everybody. And just look and say, and I hate to say it this way, but what purpose does this person serve? Like, how are they beneficial in my life? How are they helping me to get closer to fulfilling my destiny and my purpose on this earth? And when you ask a very pointed question like that, so that question to yourself and really examine it, it's going to start to tell you a lot. Communication will come out of that question. Sometimes we don't want to ask the questions because we don't want to know what the answer is. Because then that means we have to do something about it. We are responsible for doing something and making a change. Hey, Shell, thank you. Yes. Peace says good for you. Thank you for joining, everybody. So yes, you don't want time wasters. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 is those who are jealous. And we know that we have people in our life that have jealousy in their heart. It just happens. And if that's you, then just take some time in meditation and prayer and just ask the divine to help you with that envy or that jealousy or, whatever that is, because there's a root behind that when you're jealous of another person. You have to figure out, what is that root cause? What is it that I'm seeking? What unmet need is inside of me that I have to be jealous of my sister or brother because they're prospering or they're doing well or they have more material things or they have a great family or whatever it is, or they have a nice spouse. You have to really examine that. What is that in me that I'm jealous of that, instead of saying, well, how can I improve myself? Because really, again, it goes back to you working on you. And that's, sometimes we don't want to work on ourselves. We want to run from it. We want to hide from it. We want to mask it. And it's easier to say, well, look at them and look at what they're doing. No, spend that time working on you. And that's where the blessings come in. Okay? The more you build up yourself, the more you strengthen who you are, then the more you're able to contribute to any relationship. It works both ways. So you definitely don't want to be around people that are jealous or envious of you, because even sometimes that can be dangerous, because then sometimes they're doing things to really compromise your success. And most of us have been in that type of situation, or maybe going through it right now, where we have friends or even family members or people or co-workers that are sabotaging or trying to sabotage what we're doing because of jealousy. So try to sever that relationship or put the boundaries in place. Number 5, those who play the victim. And I'm not going to go too much in that. We know about that. We know who those people are. Every time you turn around, there's a situation and someone's after them and somebody's doing something to them. They're always the victim. That alone is just draining, and it drains your energy. So again, those are the people that you definitely need to, again, release them in love, okay, and let them work on their own stuff. 6, those who don't care. And we know we have those. They act like they care. They act like they are supportive, but they really aren't. And the best thing I can say is that action speaks louder than words. So if you really care and you really are for me, and you're really Team Phoenix, or you're really Team Chantel, or you're really Team Zakia, or Team Ivory, listen, you'll know, right? we know. We know who's really for us. We know who really care about us and about what we're doing and the path that God has us on. And because they're there supporting, they're with us, and support comes up in different ways. I'm not saying they have to show up to all your events and do all of this, but you know when someone genuinely cares about you. And if people really just don't care, because they show that also in how they don't care about you, where they don't show up for things, or they don't keep their word or their promises or do what they say they're going to do. And if that's a consistent pattern, then you know that's someone who, they're really about themselves. They don't care. So that's someone you don't want in your life. And number 7, those who are self-centered. To me, that kind of goes hand in hand with those that don't care. Self-centered people is exactly what it says. They're all about themselves. So they're not invested in you, and they're not invested in what you have going on. If you listen to it, and this is where discernment comes in, and this is where spending time, quality time in prayer and meditation comes in. Because then your third eye is wide open and you can see these people clearly. And you don't get fooled by the mask and their representative that shows up and gives you all of the gloss and the glamour, and you think that they're for you and they really aren't. Because if you really listen to someone, how they speak and what they say, and then sometimes what they're not saying and their body language, it says everything about who they are really for, if they're really down for you or not, or if they're down for themselves completely. Because self-centered people, they're so obvious. So they usually stay away from me. they're very obvious to me, because all I do is I listen to you for a minute and I'm like, oh, okay. And I watch what you do. So if you're self-centered, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be doing a whole lot for people. Or when you're doing it, the end result is for you to get something out of it, right? For that person that's self-centered is always to benefit them. So you definitely want to get rid of those folks. Like he said, big facts. Chantel said facts. Yeah, we know. And then number 8, those who keep disappointing you. Ooh, those that promise, and I'm going to do this, and I got you, sis. I got you, brother. I'll be there. And then every time you turn around, they're not there. Or they didn't do what they say they was going to do. Or they promised and they said they was going to go through with something, and then next thing you know, you got like the short end of the stick. And we know, we've been there too. Lynn said, if you want to know a person, just listen. Exactly. Just listen and watch. We are living in a time you have to be so discerning. You have to have, like I said, that third eye have to be sharp. Like energy is real. We are energy. We're energy beings. We're spirit beings. If nothing else, close your eyes and just listen and just be around somebody and let the energy just flow. That will tell you a lot. Forget about it. Sometimes don't even just sit there and let the energy flow and see what you feel. Okay? So, and especially, let me say this, especially before I wrap up, if you are someone that is considered like a highly sensitive person or an empath like myself, these people, they can drain the life out of you. It could literally mean life or death, or it could literally mean you being well or you being sick. Because when you're a person like that, where you're always able to absorb other people's energy and your antennas are always out, these type of people, these toxic type of people, they can really do damage. So you have to be protective of yourself. Okay? And that's any relationship, but especially if you're what's called an HSP or an empath. So before I wrap up, I do want to tell everyone, Chantel, what'd you say? DNR, do not resuscitate. Yes, I love it. Love that. Love it. Love it. That's right. Let the relationship go and do not pick it back up. Don't let it go. Today is what? December 4th? Is it December 4th? Yeah. And then you say, okay, I'm letting this thing go. I'm, ending this relationship. 12/31, you feeling good about it. By what, January 25th, you back dealing with the person, or you don't let them back in your life, and you're like, didn't I say, yeah. And that's what we do. It becomes a cycle. And you know what? When we start talking about, especially when we start talking about maybe narcissist people or people that have a passive aggressive personality, that's a whole nother level. And these are definitely people that you do not want to keep a close relationship with. So I want to tell you about, I have a webinar that's coming up on 12/10. And this is very much for people that are consider themselves highly sensitive people. And if you're not sure, this is a great webinar to find out, because I go through what that looks like. If you're an empath, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect yourself from toxic people like this? How do you protect yourself from even the environment? We have a lot going on in our world right now. We have a lot going on in our environment that is very toxic for us. The foods that are in our supermarkets, the foods that we eat every day, most of us. And we're not even aware of some of the pesticides and some of the things that are put in these foods that we're putting in our body. So as an empath or a highly sensitive person, you definitely, this stuff can take you out of here, because it's how you're wired and how you're built. How you're built. Highly sensitive people and empaths, we are biochemically built and wired very differently. So our reaction and our reactive system is extremely heightened, okay? And that's from a neurological standpoint. That's from a spiritual standpoint. So that's why many of us end up becoming healers, helping professionals, intuitive people, right? Clairvoyance, because of how we're wired. So I'm going to talk about all of this, and I'm going to talk about it from a standpoint of becoming an empath warrior. And meaning that when you are an empath or you're a highly sensitive person, you have to know how to navigate through life. You have to know how to show up and not get taken out because of everything that we deal with in this world, including the toxic people that are in this world. So I go through and I break down all of that in this webinar, and it's going to be on Monday, December 10th. I will drop the information and the link in this live. If you're interested in showing, in participating, you can register. If you have any questions for me, you can either hit me up in the inbox or you can email me at phoenixlove45@gmail.com. And I'll be happy to ask. Because some people don't know that they're empath. But if you are an empath, you know something is different, because you have been that way since you was probably a kid. You have, different characteristics and traits that are, just out of the ordinary. And I say, it's a superpower. I say that, we're very unique individuals that, and I feel it's a blessing. But a lot of people see it as a curse. I am part of an empath community and group, and many of these people, they're from all over the world. They look at it as a curse. They really suffer with it. But I thank God Almighty that, I learned how to take care of myself. And there is a way. There is many ways. So this is some of the stuff that I'm going to be giving you, the tools, the resources, the information, what foods to eat, prayer, meditation. I'm going to do a guided meditation that's specifically for empaths. It's going to be very powerful. And this is December 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. Yes, IKEA. Yes. Lynn, it's not a group. It's a webinar that I'm doing. Very true. IKEA said, very true, this world can consume if unaware or not utilizing to. Exactly. Consume you right up. Yeah, Lynn, it's actually it's a webinar that I am doing on Monday, 12/10. So I will drop the link in there. And then one more thing that I want to mention before I wrap up. Real Conversations with Real Souls, which is my show that I do on this platform. It is on hiatus until the new year. However, oh my goodness, I have so many wonderful guests and interviews and panels that I'm going to continue. The panel series is going to be even more powerful, the lineup that I have. So if you are interested, and I'm going to list, some of the topics that we are going to be talking about. If you're interested in being a part of Real Conversation with Real Souls and being a panelist, and you have a topic you want to discuss, hit me up. phoenixlove45@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. I would love to bring you on if you have an area of expertise you want to share with our audiences here, because it's all about the information. I'm all about resources, information. How can we be our best? How can we be our healthiest? How can we have complete holistic wellness? And that really, we have to look at every aspect of life in order to achieve that. And that's from a financial standpoint, that's from a spiritual standpoint, that's from a relationship standpoint, right? So we can only be healthy, whole, and well if we are making sure that all the parts of our life, because we have so many parts, is in order and in divine order. So this is the information that, I try to bring forth when I do real conversations with real souls, and I have different panelists come on and they share their information. So it will come back in January 2019. But meanwhile, I'm, booking people to be a part of different panels. So if you are interested, just hit me up, and I would love to have you to share your expertise. Hey, Karma, thank you for joining. So if you're joining this now and you missed the beginning, please watch it on the replay. If you're catching this on the replay, just put #replay. I will drop the link. Again, I have the Becoming an Empath Warrior workshop that I'll be doing. It's a virtual workshop that will be December 10th, which is next Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. And it's all about mastering survival strategies, how to navigate through this world. Hey, Elaine, thank you for joining. And yeah, we have to be equipped because we are living in some precarious days, y'all. If you haven't noticed, again, this is Truthful Tuesday. If you haven't noticed, we are living in some real, what, Christians may call end time days. The conscious community just may call it the age of the Aquarius. I mean, call it what you want. But it's some precarious days, and we have to be ready. And we have to be ready. We have to be suited up. Listen, I'm ready. So I just want my brothers and sisters to be ready with me, because if you just look around, everything that's going on, you have to be ready. You have to be on purpose. That's why I say you got to get rid of those time wasters and those toxic people in your life, because right now you should be locking arms with people that are going to help you grow and go to the next level. That's it. If someone's not invested in your growth and your development and in you, achieving your goals, achieving your dreams, then why are they there? And yes, we're here to be a blessing to people as well. It's not take. It's all reciprocal. But again, most of the people that are on my page and that I connect with, we're all givers. We're all some kind of helping professional, life coach, therapist, preachers, ministers, you name it, business strategists. We're all givers. So, we want to lock arm with more givers. We don't just want people that are in our lives taken. And that's what toxic people do. They take. They take your time. They take your energy. They take your money. They take all your valuables, right? So this is the time, take all your stuff back. Because guess what all of that is? That's part of your power. So take your power back. If you're giving your power away little by little to people that are toxic, or to environments that are toxic, because some of us are in toxic work environments, right? It's time to take your power back, okay? So I'm hoping that, I'll have some of you come on this webinar, because I'm going deep with this was just kind of a little bit of what I want to talk about, because I'm going to get into those types of personalities that we definitely should not have in our lives, especially if we're an empath or a highly sensitive person. Thank you, sis. Thank you. All right, everybody. I'm going to jump off. I know it's lunchtime. I see some of my masculine energy coming up in here. Beautiful. So please watch the replay, #replay. And I hope everyone have a blessed Tuesday, and just be well and be peace and be love. All right, everyone. Take care.